Great to have you back in. The last 12 years, it was really written in stone. No reasonable person was going to argue that LeBron James was the best player in the world. It wasn't really an argument. It was silly. I mean, and it didn't even matter who won the MVP award. Nobody ever thought Westbrook was better or Harden was better than LeBron. LeBron was the most valuable player. I mean, it was dumb to argue for 10 years. I don't care. D. Rose was ever more valuable. Well, he had a better year. It's not called who had the best statistical year. It's called most valuable player. I mean, good God, the ratings are down 50% in the Eastern Conference. He's even valuable to television executives. Forget the league, forget the players, forget his teammates. LeBron's been the best player in the NBA for, and in my opinion, until he got hurt this year, for the last 12 years. And he was also the most valuable. And it shows the MVP award. As you're watching these MVP award winners get dusted out in the first round of the playoffs, you know, it's comedy to me. But I think now, for the first time, it marks a new era. And generally speaking, there's only one or two guys we even talk about as best player in the game. It was Magic or Bird. I chose Magic. It was Michael, and nobody argued. Then Michael left, and was it Barkley? Was it Akeem? Was it, you know? And most of my life, you know, it was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar before, like, Magic and Bird arrived. There was always like a guy, and maybe there was a second guy that was kind of close. But I think I'm watching these playoffs, and it's wide open who the best player in the world is. Let's start with my vote, Kevin Durant. But I got to be honest, it doesn't help my case when the Warriors are 31-1 in the last 32 games without him. It doesn't help my case any. He's certainly not valuable. He's not as valuable as LeBron. He's not as valuable as Kawhi. I don't think anybody would argue that if you took Kawhi off the Raptors, I'm not even sure it's a playoff team. So my vote is Kevin Durant, but he is not as valuable as many players in this league. Then there's Kawhi Leonard. Well, I mean, this is like Jordan. He's having an unbelievable all-time playoff run, and I don't think there's any disputing. He's brought a little mid-range jumper back, which I like, and he's the best two-way player in the game, and that's not arguable. And he is valuable. Best, I don't know, but in terms of valuable, he's valuable. Okay, then there's Steph Curry, who I think is more valuable than Kevin Durant, but Durant's a better player. Steph's averaging 35.5 points since KD got hurt. And by the way, they've trailed by 17, 18, 17. It doesn't even matter. He's the fourth quarter assassin. There's nobody in the game like him right now. There's LeBron James, 28, 8, and 8. Now, he decided last year to take defense off. He just didn't play any defense. And so I don't think you can make him all NBA. But would anybody be shocked if LeBron came back finally rested and just tore it up next year? I'm going to go with I wouldn't be shocked. Then there's Giannis. Now, this morning, everybody's like, whoa. Listen, 7 days ago, if you even argued Giannis wasn't in the top two, you were a hater. And then there's James Harden, who is analytically the best offensive player ever, analytically. Now, here's what I know. If you don't control the tempo by dribbling, if I don't trust you late at the free throw line, and if you're not a great three-point shooter, or at least really good, you're never going to be my best player in the game. Giannis, I don't care how many 60 minutes pieces they do. He's never going to be my best player in the game. I think he's a great kid and a great player and a force to be reckoned with. But if you got some length on your roster, you can marginalize him much easier than Kevin Durant, Kawhi, Steph, LeBron, James Harden. So I think the who's the best basketball player in the world, you could vote a lot of different ways. I'm a KD guy here, but it's not helping my case that he doesn't appear to be that valuable. They're 31-1 in Golden State with Steph leading. LeBron was the best player and easily the most valuable for 12 years. He was valuable to executives, TV companies, teammates, the Eastern Conference, the league, ticket sales. I mean, LeBron, you couldn't argue. You were silly. You just sounded like you were trying to get an argument on radio. But now, I think it's wide open. And even the guy I think's the best, I don't think he's that valuable in terms of, he's not Kawhi valuable. He's not Kawhi valuable, and I'm not sure he's Steph valuable. Joy with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
So the Bucks dropped Game 5 at home to the Raptors, leaving them on the brink of elimination, heading back to Toronto.
Wow.
They kept it close, but they couldn't stop Kawhi, who scored 15 of his 35 points in the fourth quarter.
Oh.
And after the game, Giannis was asked about the team's mindset going into Game 6.
We're not going to fold.
How do you know?
We're not going to fold, man. Come on. We're best team in the league, man. We're not going to fold. We're going to go in, going to give everything we got. You know, we're going to come back to Milwaukee being pissed. I think we had a chance to win another game today, but we didn't. Obviously, you know, I'm pissed. I'm not going to lie to you. We got 2 more games to go and we can do this.
Giannis did have 24 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 block, but he also had 2 turnovers and was 4 of 9 on free throws.
He shot 75% free throw line, which is fine for a big. He's down into the 60s now. Like, he has lost his mojo at the free throw line, especially late in clutch situations.
Yeah, and the way that he gets fouled, that's just that can't be the case. He's got to work on that. But I mean, Chris Middleton had 6 points last night. Now Brogdon and Bledsoe and George Hill had a big game as well, so they all kind of pick up the slack. But you can't. That can't happen.
This goes to the thing. So you have to be careful about living in the moment. I said about Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton should be the 3rd best player on a championship team, or like the 4th best player on a dynasty, like Draymond, right? And everybody's like, oh, Chris Middleton against Boston. Anybody seen Chris Middleton since Boston? It is, you don't know what you're getting Chris Middleton, quarter to quarter, shot to shot, game to game.
He hasn't been that consistent this series, but I mean, you got to give it to Kawhi. Like, he's taken over the series.
Yeah, no, he's been unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I'm starting to go back to loving the mid-range jumper. I know the analytic people.
Isn't it nice?
It's nice. I got layers.
I feel like that's been the story of this entire playoff run.
Get a bucket.
Yes.
Get a bucket.
I'm so with you. It's really been enjoyable to watch.
And by the way, one of the reasons I like the mid-range jumper, I like the texture of it. Like a 3-point shot, you're way out there. You don't have to put a move on anybody. To get a good mid-range jumper, you got to put the ball on the deck. You got to spin a little bit. It's playground basketball. You're a little one-on-one guy. You got, you're palming the ball. It's like, that's when basketball is showcase fun, not jacking up stuff from the parking lot.
Yeah, I'm so with you. It's been really fun to watch, and Kawhi has been the best at it throughout this playoffs.
This won't get ratings, but I found it to be a fascinating, even series. I know this is not going to get good TV ratings. I think it's been a great series.
I think we've gotten a lot of good basketball.
So do I.
And this series has been good. All that said, I think that they win in Toronto and close it out for the finals. So LeBron James is justifiably worried about the dysfunction in the Lakers front office and how it could cost them landing elite free agents, and that's not stopping him from trying to bring some free agents to LA. According to Brian Windhorst, LeBron is already talking to some big names. He said, from what I understand, he has already begun the recruiting process. I've heard he has had contact with Kawhi Leonard. I've heard he's had contact with Jimmy Butler. There's no tampering enforcement by players. The thing about it is, I don't know if text and calls, maybe dinner with LeBron is enough for the Lakers to overcome the hurdles that they're going to have.
Yeah.
Now, he's right about that. There is a lot more than just LeBron saying, let's get together and we'll go win a championship, the way that it felt like in Cleveland and in Miami. The situation's very different.
It's easy to bang on Magic Johnson. Okay, you can say, he didn't put the time in, but let's be honest. Magic and LeBron, if they sat in a room together, is a big deal. You can all, listen, and I said it, I don't think Magic's built for the details and minutia of a president, but Magic gave them a heads up and said, hey, I'm not going to be in Dusseldorf this weekend watching backup guards. You say what you want about Magic Johnson. Lakers got LeBron with Magic having a 3-hour conversation, and no Magic now. That's a pretty hollow room you're sitting in.
Well, I don't know why going to Dusseldorf to watch point guards wasn't going to be Rob Pelinka's job anyway.
Right.
That's not really Magic Johnson's job, even if he was still the president of the Lakers. So that was never the perception of that setup to me anyway. But you're right. The room is missing key pieces now. And it feels like, because it's gotten so dysfunctional, that even with LeBron in the room, it's like you're kind of just here to obviously help. It's no longer where like, okay, we're coming in, whatever LeBron says, is going to get executed. We know that's not going to happen. Ty Lue is not the head coach of this team.
Free agency is just sales. That's all it is. You're sitting in a room and trying to sell a guy.
But the issue now is players want to go not only to the best situation for them, on the court, but off the court. And that's not really the case here, because you're going to constantly be dealing with the Lakers' dysfunction is so all over the city. Like it's not just a basketball team in the city. It's the Lakers. It's Los Angeles. It's